Man, that first time we met was so odd. Ashley had happened to drop her work materials and I was there to help her pick them back up. From there we chatted for a minute or so, then she asked if I would like to have a drink that evening. Of course I accepted without hesitation, as she was quite a good-looking woman. I would have been crazy to have said no to her. She handed me her business card. I scanned it and saw she was a makeup artist/stylist in a fashionable salon in the heart of our city. I placed the card in my wallet and told her I would pick her up at her place of business that evening around 5. She nodded her head yes, and we headed off in separate directions. The remainder of my day was a blur as I was anticipated my date that night with Ashley. It was just before 5 that I arrived in the salon and spoke with the receptionist. I told her I was here to meet Ashley. She introduced herself as Lisa and asked that I have a seat while I wait for my appointment. I laughed and told her I was not here for an appointment but to pick up Ashley for a date that we had. Lisa told me to bad as she complimented me on my head of hair, which was almost touching my shoulders at the back. She mentioned that Ashley was the best stylist they had here and she could do wonders with my hair. I smiled and thanked her before she disappeared through a doorway where she would let Ashley know I was here. The time was going by slowly as I sat there waiting. I flipped through the magazines in front of me only to find that they were all hairstyling publications. Hell, I thought, but I picked up one anyways and leafed through it. I was amazed at the many styles I saw in this magazine. The models were all knockouts and I soon found myself staring at the pictures longer and longer. I never noticed Ashley come through the door. When I did realize she was standing there, she was smiling broadly. She asked if I liked the styles. I told her yes, that they were all incredible. She giggled and told me in a half-hearted laugh that she could do any of them of anybody. Without thinking, I mentioned that that would be something to see. She grinned and took my hand to help me up. She also took the magazine and placed it down. We left the salon and headed for a small restaurant that Lisa had recommended to her. It was only a short distance away and soon we were shown to a semi-private booth located in the rear of the building. The hostess, whose name was Carla, suggested a bottle of red wine to start with. I asked Ashley if that was okay with her. Smiling, she told me red wine was her favorite. With that settled, the Carla left only to return in a moment with our wine. I watched her closely as she uncorked the bottle. She then poured a small amount into my glass. I picked it up and tasted it, and wow, I thought this wine is excellent. I told Carla that she had made a wonderful choice and she then poured Ashley a glass and then went about filling mine too. Ashley and I toasted to our chance meeting earlier that day and sipped our wine. We chatted for a while, and I asked her if she enjoyed her job. That was all I needed to ask, as Ashley beamed from ear to ear and told me that she just loved her job and that it gave her great satisfaction to have her customers leave so happily after she had worked her magic in them. She went on further to tell that all the employees at the salon were hand-picked by the owner to make sure all customers were pampered totally and all their needs were met. Not thinking too straight as the wine had seemed to have gone to my head, I told Ashley that she would have to be good if she could indeed do one of those styles I had seen in the magazines earlier. The coldness of her stare floored me. Ashley asked me directly if I was game for a little experiment to show me that she was indeed a good stylist. I guess it was the wine, as I accepted her challenge without fully realizing what I might be getting myself into. We finished the wine along with some crackers and cheese. We then headed back out and soon we arrived at the salon. As we entered, I saw that Lisa was still there doing the day's receipts. Smiling, she asked Ashley if everything was okay. Ashley told her that I had accepted a challenge made by her. With that said, she took my hand and we headed through the doorway and into the salon area. We stopped walking and Ashley sat me down at her chair. Picking up a comb, she began to move my hair about, pulling it up and checking its length and texture. Seeming satisfied, she placed a cape over me and told me to relax as my transformation was about to begin. By the time all this had taken place, Lisa had entered the salon area and sat down by me. She carried the magazine I had earlier looked at and she handed it to Ashley, who flipped through a few pages and then showed Lisa a picture. They both nodded. I was not allowed to see which one they had chosen, but I was promised it was one of the more complex ones. Now the chair I was sitting in was swiveled around and I was tilted backwards. I could hear water running and then Ashley began to wash my hair. It was all I could do to relax. Lisa asked if I had had a manicure before. When I told her no, she told me that no better time than the present to have my first. She left us alone. Ashley had finished washing and rinsing my hair. She was now putting a clear liquid onto it, and this I was told was a newly formulated texturizer that would add body and fullness to my hair. Once lathered onto my hair, I could feel it tingling. It actually felt great, and I told Ashley this. She giggled, telling me it was working as it was supposed to then. I had to lie back for close to 20 minutes before Ashley rinsed off the solution. She told me my hair looked so much better. Lisa had also returned carrying a tote bag and pushing a cart. She giggled in Ashley's direction and mentioned that my hair looked fabulous. Ashley then wrapped my head into a towel and pulled me back upright. The chair was spun around and I was now facing the mirror. Watching her closely as she picked up a razor, she began to remove any hair I had on the nape of my neck. She thorough, and soon I could feel the coolness over me. Ashley now removed the towel. I could see my hair and it looked incredible. It somehow seemed longer and very full. I made a comment to Ashley and she giggled, telling me to just wait. She combed my hair into many smallish sections. A tray of curlers was by her as she combed up some hair, and soon she was wrapping it neatly around this curler. I smiled as this was a first for me. I was now starting to get intrigued as she continued on. In no time my entire head was covered in many different sized curlers. I looked silly, I thought, but was wondering what she had in store for me. At no point was I thinking this is crazy, as I was mesmerized, it seemed. Ashley brought over a dryer and turned it on, its warmth and me almost falling asleep. As I sat there, Lisa now began my manicure as she placed my fingers into warm water. My eyes closed as she gently went about trimming off my cuticles and shaping my nails. I could feel something pinching at my fingers' ends. I was not sure of this, but I never opened my eyes as they felt so heavy. The attention Lisa was paying to my hands soon stopped, and I could sense her not removing my shoes and socks. My feet were then put into a vibrating bath of warm water. It felt wonderful and relaxing. Minutes went by like seconds, and soon Lisa had stopped fussing over me. The heat from the dryer had also turned cool, and my hair was ready for Ashley to work her magic. My eyes opened now and I saw Ashley begin to remove the curlers. It was incredible as each one removed left me with a firmly rolled ringlet that hung on my head tightly. In a matter of seconds the curlers had all been removed, leaving me looking at a head full of tight corkscrew-looking curls. Staring steadily ahead now, I gazed at my reflection in the mirror as Ashley began to arrange each curl. Lisa helped her by giving her pins. She held the comb while Ashley pinned my hair up. All of this continued for almost half an hour. When Ashley stepped back announcing I was done, I was stunned. This hairstyle was so close to one I had seen in the magazine. It suited my face perfect. I looked at Ashley and told her she was indeed a wizard of hairstyling. She then bent over and told me just wait. It was then I noticed my feet. Each toe was painted cherry red. I gasped. Now I saw my fingernails. They too were cherry red, but they were also almost an inch longer than they had been earlier. I looked at Lisa, who was smiling. She told she had put on a gel overlay by using a small metal clip, which she showed me. With this clip she was also able to extend each nail's length. I wiggled my fingers, somehow, though I was feeling shocked as I liked what I was seeing. Lisa pulled on my earlobe and asked Ashley if she should fix a little something there. Ashley of course told her yes. Lisa wasted no time, and soon each of my ears had been pierced and I was having large hoop earrings attached to my lobes. It felt funny as I shook my head. The earrings dangled and brushed against the small curls that hung over my ears. Ashley now stepped in and helped me over to what I thought was a massage table. I was told to lie down. Then Ashley brought out a laser gun and soon she had my eyebrows shaped thinner and she arched them as a lady's brows would look. I was shown my image in a mirror and I could see my face was looking more feminine, and with my hair styled as it was I was becoming pretty, I thought. Lisa came over to look at Ashley's work and nodded her approval. Ashley then used the laser to remove any facial hair she felt should not be there. A cool liquid was sponged onto my face when she was done. It also felt wonderful and soothing to me. Makeup was now being applied. Foundation was first, and Ashley spread everywhere and smoothed it with a sponge pad also. My eyes were next as she brushed on 3 separate colors. Eyeliner followed, and this was blended with a firmer felling brush. Mascara followed over my lashes. This made me blink as she applied 3 coats. The heaviness soon became easy to cope with and my blinking stopped. Cherry red lipstick was painted onto my lips once Ashley had lined the outer edges with a deeper color, and then to finish off my face she penciled in my brows. It was now I got my first look at my face. When I saw me I nearly fainted. The image I was looking at was not me but a beautiful sexy looking woman. It was unreal. My hand went up to touch my face. It was me, I thought. Man, I was hot looking. Ashley and Lisa watched me and they sensed my acceptance as I was helped up and led over to another area of the salon. I stood straight as Ashley began to remove my shirt. While this was being done, Lisa removed my pants and underwear. A graft was put over my penis and my balls were tucked away inside of this device. Lisa tied it tightly around me. Next, Lisa got me into a wicked-looking Victorian corset. Once over my waist area she pulled the drawstrings tightly. My waist evaporated until she had reduced to 30 inches. Silicone breasts were put into the cups of the corset and taped into place so they would not move. French cut panties were pulled up and fitted in place. Ashley came over now and rolled up a pair of black seam stockings. She slid them over each toe and soon both legs were encased in nylon. The coolness from this gave me goosebumps. Lisa came over holding a black evening gown. She lowered it and I stepped into the center of it. She then, with Ashley's assistance, slowly pulled it up. Each arm was placed into a sleeve and it was arranged over my shoulders before Ashley zipped it up. It fit my newly formed body perfectly as my hands ran over my hips and legs. The feeling I was having was so intense. Lisa had a pair of 4-inch black pumps with ankle straps. These were slipped over my feet and the buckles were done up, keeping them in place as I tried to walk. Lisa and Ashley helped me until I had gotten my balance and was able to walk alone. I stopped by a full-length mirror and nearly dropped dead as I saw a gorgeous woman looking back at me. I knew it was me, but boy, what a knockout I was. Ashley came over and stood beside me. She asked what I thought. I told her she and Lisa had managed to turn me into the most heavenly creature I have seen in some time. Purring now, Ashley said to me to just wait, as this was just me beginning into womanhood. I was more than stunned by her telling me this, but I was also excited as my feelings were exploding as I was experiencing a totally new awareness. My body swayed as I gazed at the mirror. My hands touched my waist, hips and breasts. The sensation was having tremendous effect over me. Ashley still stood by me. She held my hand gently, and Lisa then stood on the other side and took my other hand into hers. I certainly did not feel like a Brian, as was my name. I certainly did look male, so Ashley suggested Brienne. I quietly mouthed that name and smiled. Brienne it was, and we all hugged. It was now I was given a choice by these two ladies. They suggested to me that I join them and work in the salon as an apprentice. I would be required to start as a girl Friday and work up to shampoo girl, then slowly work my way up to stylist status. Once more I was stunned, but I was even more taken back by words of saying yes. On my saying this, Ashley and Lisa smiled and kissed my cheeks. My training was to start immediately the next day, and I was enrolled in a beauty school that was run by the salon owner. As for my living arrangements, I was to have a room above the salon where I would be made to live totally as a woman, learning everything I could from the girls who worked in the salon. Anything male that I owned would be sold and all monies from that would go towards my training. Regular doctor's appointments would be made and I would be placed on a strict diet along with hormone therapy until my weight dropped and my figure became totally feminine. I was so anxious to start, it was almost dreamlike. Being a woman was now utmost on my mind and I was determined now to live my new life to the fullest, to enjoy my newfound femininity. I awoke the following morning. Right off I knew this was not my bed, as it was quite larger than mine. Also the sheets were satin and pink in color, not even close to what I was used to. I reached out to pull the sheets back and I saw my fingernails. They were long and red in color. I was also wearing satin pajamas, and when I stepped down I saw that my toes too were painted red. I knew this was not right, but I also could not remember a lot from the night before. Hurrying now, I found the bathroom and once and was shocked to see my hair. It was done up in an elegant updo with smallish curls around my face. It actually looked very flattering on me and I found myself smiling at my reflection. My face though was what really caught my eye. I had beautifully arched brows and just a trace of makeup on. With my hair as it was, I looked very ladylike. I again wondered to myself what I had done the night before. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. I went over and opened the door, and it was Ashley. She was smiling big time as she saw me admiring myself. She asked if I liked what they had done last night. I replied to her that I had no idea of the events to have me looking like this, adding it sure startled me. Ashley laughed and said it was done over dinner while we drinking the wine. I was told that I had challenged her to show me how good of a stylist she really was. The result I was seeing was that result. I shook my head as I could only recall drinking a glass of wine, but since I was looking this way I had to acknowledge to her that she was indeed a wonderful stylist. Ashley told me to get dressed and come downstairs. She also said that my clothes had been washed and to put on something from her closet. My jaw dropped as I was asked this. She giggled and told me to not worry, her things would fit as we were close in size. With that said, she hurried off and left me there to contemplate whether I dare dress in her clothing. Slowly after leaving the washroom I walked over to what I felt was a closet. I slid the door open to see it filled with a variety of ladies' articles. Thinking to myself that this is crazy, I went through Ashley's things until I found a pantsuit that was not too feminine. It was blue in color. I stopped for a minute thinking, what about underwear? So I searched the dresser drawers until I found some plain-looking panties. These I slipped into and immediately I had a sensation of pleasure run through my body. It was an awesome feeling. Goosebumps actually formed on my arms and I stood there basking in a warm glow. It felt marvelous and I looked at myself in the mirror for a moment. Now for the pantsuit, I thought, and I removed it from the hanger. It was made of silk as well, and when I slipped my body into it, I was again hit with a warm sensation running over my body. Then as I walked the feeling only got better as the silk was cool, and with each stride I took downstairs my skin felt my alive. Arriving now in the kitchen I saw Ashley was with another woman. This turned out to be Lisa. I could not remember her, but she introduced herself as the nail lady. I laughed and said she did one heck of a job. On saying that, she flashed a wry smile at Ashley. I sat down and crossed my arms as they both chuckled. Lisa asked how I liked Ashley's outfit. I told her that it felt incredible. She smiled broadly. I now asked how all this happened from just one drink. Both Ashley and Lisa grinned and told me it was from a challenge made by me after I had asked if Ashley was really a good stylist. It sort of went further once Lisa was in the salon on our arrival back there. I was given a full makeover by both of them to show me that a lady was deep inside of me. Looking up at them I nodded my understanding, but would prefer to look like a guy even though I did look rather good this way. Ashley had poured us some coffee while I was talking. I did not notice her adding a small vial of clear liquid, but I saw the small container close to where she was. I had a sip then another before Lisa spoke to me. It seems last evening I had made a promise to wash her hair and with Ashley's help I would then set it. Shaking my head I had another sip of coffee. Ashley then told me I had said this and she was game to help me if I wanted to keep my promise. Now not knowing why I would have said this I stood up and told Lisa I would love to do this. Ashley leaped up and grabbed my arm. In a second we were in the salon once more. It seemed Ashley not only owned the salon but the home it was attached to. We all over to the wash sink and Lisa sat herself down. Ashley gave me a cape and placed it around Lisa perfectly. I then positioned the chair back and with the water warm and ready I started to wash her hair. Lisa asked that I be a bit careful as my longer nails, which I was not used to, were digging in a bit on her head. I obeyed her and went over her head gently. It did not take long as I rinsed her and with Ashley's help I wrapped her hair into a towel. Lisa was now seated in the styling chair. I removed the towel and then watched closely as Ashley combed her hair smooth for me. I was then handed this comb and told to try my luck at rolling up a section of hair. This was done and with my trembling hands I first combed up a small section. I took a curler from the tray and with some difficulty I wound the hair around it and clipped it into place. Ashley patted my shoulder and told me I was going to be a great apprentice for them. I nodded without hesitation and continued on. As I did this Ashley used the salon phone and made a call. While she did this Lisa was telling me how good a job I was doing. I felt proud and smiled at her. In time I finally had Lisa's hair all rolled, although not too good it was all done. She smiled and said I did fine for my first time. She said would only get better with Ashley and hers instruction. Ashley had finished with her call and she showed me how to position the dryer over Lisa and how to adjust the heat. Having now accomplished this and with Lisa beaming happily Ashley led me over to a table. She asked me to lie down. I did without hesitation. My face was inspected closely, and in a bit Ashley began to spread a clear liquid over my face and neck area. I was told this would rid me in time of my daily growth of facial hair. She then undid the pantsuit I was wearing and removed it. The clear liquid was then spread over my legs, chest, and under my arms. Ashley told me this would have to be done every few days until the liquid eradicated all the hair roots. Once more I should have been questioning her, but instead I found myself agreeing with her. Around 15 minutes had passed. I had lied there motionless. Ashley was now back. She used warm water and a cloth to wipe off the liquid which she had applied. After this was removed, she told me it was perfect and I was smooth as a newborn baby. The coolness over me sent a shiver once more down my spine. I rubbed my chest and felt the smoothness, and I told Ashley it felt wonderful. I then got up and put the pantsuit back on. Ashley then handed me a pair of nylon sockets which she told me to put on my feet. I did this, then she bent down and placed black 3-inch heel pumps onto each foot. When I stood I found it was difficult to balance myself. Ashley told me that while in the salon I was to always wear these heels so I would feel comfortable while walking around doing my chores. Once more I should have questioned her words, but I didn't. I just slowly walked until I found my step. It was becoming easier to walk now, and I went over to the dryer to see if Lisa was ready. She was smiling at me as she looked at my feet. She said I looked so breathtaking. I blushed at her words and helped her up, as her hair was dry. Lisa sat down and made herself comfortable as I began to remove each curler from her hair. Ashley stood by to observe, and as the last one was taken I could see that Lisa's hair was filled with curls, which I had made. Ashley told me to use a brush which she handed over and to just gently bring all of Lisa's hair back towards us. I did this, and incredibly Lisa's hair fell into place and fell around her shoulders perfectly. I was smiling at her as she winked at me. Lisa then got up and gave me a kiss on my cheek. She also whispered in my ear that I would be a good stylist in time. My smile only broadened and I thanked her. Ashley also commended me on my first effort and told me in time I would work out just fine around her salon. All of this talk about me working in the salon along with her and Lisa again never made me think this is not right. I only felt wanted that they had an interest in me this way. It was so odd. We were all sitting and chatting when another lady came into the salon. It was Carla, the waitress from the restaurant last night. She looked at me approvingly and motioned for Ashley to come over to her. I watched as she and Ashley talked for a few minutes. Carla also gave her a small box before heading back out. Lisa then went over and together they checked the box's contents. Both of them whispered to each other and Ashley gave Lisa a vial from the box. Lisa then headed out to Ashley's kitchen. She returned with juice for us to drink. Lisa handed me a drink and we sat there talking some more. While we spoke I drank my juice. I was finding it difficult to concentrate until Ashley spoke to me. It was odd as her words sounded slurred, but it was making sense to me. Lisa also was coming across the same way. They were both saying to me that I would quit my job, move in with Ashley and work at the salon as their apprentice. This was said over and over again until I started to mouth the same words. Suddenly Ashley clapped her hands and I looked directly at her. She asked if I would like her to fix my hair. Before answering, Lisa told me to say yes, so of course I told her okay. Then Ashley asked if I would like to have them turn me back into Brienne. I looked over towards Lisa who was nodding her head at me, so again I said yes. Now with this said and with my approval they both got into action and I was having my hair washed and towel wrapped. Then once in the styling chair Ashley called for Lisa to bring over the perm equipment. Staring at them both in the mirror I watched as Ashley removed the towel and after combing my hair she began to set it in perm rods. Lisa helped her as they did not use a lot of hair in each rod. I was told I was getting a spiral perm to add wonderful curls to my poker straight hair. I smiled at them as they continued on. Once all my hair was wrapped in the rods, Ashley placed cotton around my ears and under the rods. She then used a horrible smelling lotion to soak each over and every rod. I would have to wait for 45 minutes so the lotion would set each curl. While waiting, Lisa took over and asked if I would like her to give me a French manicure. Right off I said yes and she went to work while Ashley went into her living quarters. I watched intently as Lisa first removed the old red polish from my nail, then she buffed them up using a fine emery board. Once completed, she used what she called an airbrush to apply a coat of white over the nail tips. A clearish polish followed and she used 2 coats. Unlike the previous polish I had worn, this one looked much more elegant. I moved my fingers slowly and admired the way they looked. Lisa told me this was a very feminine look and that I should keep my nails this way always. She added, "Don't I think so?" Her suggestion of this had me agreeing, and that to keep my nails like this would be proper if I was to work with them in the salon. Now Ashley was back. She made comment of my newly done nails, telling me they looked fabulous. I thank her for this as she asked me to come over to the wash area. I positioned myself in the chair and once leaned back, my hair was rinsed off. Ashley told me another lotion was required now, and with it squirted on each perm rod I would have to lie back for another 15 minutes. Lisa removed my heels and sockets, and once she removed the old red polish from my toes, she applied a clear coat twice. They glistened, she told me as I lie there. With the time now passed, my hair was rinsed and the perm rods were removed. Ashley said the curls were perfect and helped my up. Again, a towel was wrapped over my head. Back at the styling chair, Lisa watched as Ashley removed the towel. The curls fell almost to my shoulders. A heat lamp was brought over and positioned around my head. I now sat there under the lamps while my hair dried. Lisa and Ashley remained busy out of my sight. I had heard the door open and close and could hear that Carla was now back as well. I heard Ashley tell someone that it was working even better than they all thought it would and could not wait for the 3rd dose to be administered. Carla told her that all 30 had to be done in proper order for the change to take entirely. There was giggling from them as Ashley said she would not make an error. The footsteps of all 3 were heard by me. Carla spoke first. She asked if Brienne was nice name. I told her yes. Lisa then spoke. She asked if I would like to have my nails done daily. Again I said yes. Then Ashley spoke. She asked if Brienne would be good girl for them and do as any of them requested, as I had much to learn from them all. Once more I said yes. They all grinned and in unison nodded their approval. I was not sure how much time had passed by, but I was given the juice I had earlier to finish off. Ashley was taking the heat lamps away and gently picking away at my hair. She told Lisa it was awesome, and I was wheeled over to the mirror to see for myself. Wow, I thought when I saw myself. My hair was beautifully done and the spiral curls spun down over my head in rows. I cupped my hand and bounced the one side. It felt so soft. I loved it. Lisa now called over that it was time to get dressed. Carla and Ashley went with me as I walked into Ashley's bedroom. There I saw an outfit laid down on the bed. Lisa helped me get out of the pantsuit. She saw my smooth legs and ran her hands over them. Very nice, she told me. I had no time to answer as my hands were held up by Carla as Lisa placed a corset around my waist. It was tightened and my hourglass figure was now back. I stood there with my hands now on my waist. Ashley told me it would be right to wear this corset every day and night until I had trained my waist to look this way. Of course I agreed without hesitation. A bra and nylons were now put on me. The nylons felt so incredible as my now smooth legs were encased by them. The bra was filled with silicone breasts, they looked so real. Soon, though, I was told by Carla I would have my very own to admire. The outfit on the bed was now picked up by Ashley. She called me over to her. Once I was by her, she lowered the dress so I could step into it. With Lisa's assistance, they pulled it up my body and zipped it into place over me. It was made with a spandex fabric, so it clung tightly to my newly formed figure. The 3-inch pumps followed, and with my feet firmly in them I was taken by the hand by Lisa and led back into the salon. I walked with little difficulty, and once by Ashley I was asked to sit, which I did. Lisa and Carla sat by me and held my hands. My face was now remade over by Ashley. She went slow and at times whispered to me that I was a beautiful lady, a sexy lady over and over. Lisa and Carla also spoke to me in this manner. As my face was being made over, Lisa had put gold hoop earrings into my pierced lobes. Carla put a gold choker around my neck area and gold bracelets over each wrist. Ashley paid little attention to this as she continued to brush makeup over my lids and face all along, telling me how gorgeous I was becoming. The finishing touch was my lipstick, and once on I was finally able to see myself. My image in the mirror was unreal as my eyes looked so big and my lashes so very long. Carla said I looked very hot and sexy. She was right, as my reflection told no lies. I indeed looked amazing and ladylike in every way. Ashley said I had gotten a good start into my new life and womanhood would be wonderful and exciting for me each and every day. I would just have to learn from them all I could. The rest of the evening was spent with the four of us chatting about girl things. Each time I made a mistake, I was appropriately corrected by them. My biggest problem was sitting proper. I would cross my legs as a man would and they would all tell me right away to sit as a lady with my legs crossed together. I conformed as they wanted me to and soon I was able to sit proper without being told. Lisa patted my hand telling me I was going to be a good girl for them to work with, and with that said we all laughed together as girlfriends would have. Their second concern was my voice as Ashley said I needed to speak softer and quieter. Carla though told her that by tomorrow it would be no problem as the next dose was due soon. She then got up and left to go into Ashley's place. Carla soon returned carrying a small ampoule of whitish liquid. She handed it to me and told me to open it, close my eyes, and drink it all down. Without question, as seemed to be the case, I did as she said. I opened the top and closed my eyes. I then drank this liquid until the vial was empty. Carla told me to keep my eyes closed and to concentrate on her words. I did as she requested and she began to express to me the true feelings a woman should have. I was told to open my feelings to my newfound surroundings and feel my femininity grow as my rebirth into womanhood would not be surpassed by my old way of life. I was to accept my new life fully and not to question what was to take place. She asked that I repeat a sentence to her. She asked me to tell her I wanted to be a woman. I did this. Carla told me I was indeed going to be a beautiful woman. I told I would be. Now I was told that tonight when I sleep to dream of awaking and speaking as a woman would, use a soft voice. I told her I would do this. Carla said my night was now over and to dream as she said and to feel as she said to me, and when I awake my new life would be wonderful, exciting, and glamorous always. My eyes opened and I was brought to my room. I changed into my silk pajamas, the corset remained. I fell asleep with a feeling of contentment over me. I felt I was still asleep, but I could hear Ashley's voice. She was telling me to remember what Carla had said to me the night before and to ask her permission to work with her and Lisa full-time as an apprentice. This was told to me over and over by her. I was unable to answer, but she knew her words would be obeyed totally as the drugs Carla had brought to her were now taking hold of my mind. I also thought I heard Ashley speaking with Lisa. Together they were talking of how easy it had been so far in having me accept my new role. Lisa's voice was the strongest as she was saying Brienne's change into womanhood would be exciting for all involved and that she would have no recollection of her male life once all 30 tubes of medication had been administered. Ashley then spoke saying to Lisa that today was going to be a long day as they had to have call my place of employment and resign. Laughing, Lisa told her that would be so easy as she had no power to stop them. Suddenly now my leg was being jiggled. I opened my eyes and saw Lisa's face over me. She told me to get up and to get myself ready as they had a lot to do today. Slowly I got up and once on my feet Lisa helped me remove the corset I had worn to bed. It felt nice to have this off, but I was sad as my hourglass figure had disappeared. Ashley now appeared. She carried a glass of liquid which was pinkish in color. I was handed this and told to drink it all down. Of course I did this, and as I sipped down the last drop I gave the glass back to her and headed into the bath area. As I walked away Ashley told me the salon opened soon and to not waste any time in getting ready. Lisa was to stay with me to assist in preparing for my day. I told Ashley that I would hurry myself along. In the bathroom though I was shocked when I saw my hair, it was so curly. I called out to Lisa who came in to see what I needed. I showed her my hair and asked how this happened. She told me not to worry as they had tried a new product called a day perm and that it would wash out with no problems when I showered. Lisa was correct as the curls all vanished once I washed and rinsed my hair. I wrapped it into a towel once I had scrubbed myself clean. Now I was out of the tub and Lisa was telling me to dry off and come see her. I did as she asked and came out of the room to see she had laid out an outfit for me to wear that day. It was a beautiful black leather shirt and white blouse. Lisa helped me with my corset and once in place I got on my panties, nylons, and silicone breasts all in proper place. The blouse was silk and it felt cool over my skin. The skirt was soft leather and it fell to just below my knees. It also clung to me, not firmly though, but just enough to show off my shape. I was to leave the towel on until in the salon where Ashley would fix up my hair before the customers arrived. I had to be presentable, she told me. Before heading downstairs though, Lisa quickly did my makeup. She used many colors over my lids and painted my lips in deep purple. The false eyelashes to glued over my own made me blink for a bit, but I soon was used to their heaviness and adjusted. We now went downstairs. I was wearing my 3-inch heels and walking with little problems now as I had mastered the extra height. Lisa also told me that my legs would soon look fabulous as the heels would stiffen up my calves and add a nice shape to my thighs as well. In the downstairs area, Ashley was waiting for us. She approved of my attire and nodded at Lisa, who was walking out into the salon. We followed and I found myself seated at Ashley's styling station. My towel was removed and my hair combed out into smallish sections as it had been that first night. Intently I watched as Ashley began to set my hair in curlers. She worked quickly and with Lisa's help my hair was curled up in no time. A hairnet was tied over my head and a dryer brought out. The warm air was adjusted and the hood was brought down over me. The heat felt wonderful and I closed my eyes thinking of what style Ashley would give me today. To help me pass the time I was given a manual to read. This manual turned out to be filled with salon terminology. I was told to read and memorize all I could as my training would start as soon as they felt I was ready. It was now as well that I was told I would have to call my workplace and resign so my apprenticeship could begin. Without even questioning them, I said that it would be no problem. I did look up at Ashley and I asked her if it was okay to be her assistant. She looked over at Lisa and winked, and then she looked at me and told me she would enjoy having a new girl around the salon to train. Smiling, I promised to her that I would learn all I could and would try my best to become skilled at the art of hairstyling and makeup artistry. I continued on reading the manual while I waited for my hair to dry. Lisa was close by and gave me a wink every now and then. I thought this was funny but did not think of it too much. Finally, when the dryer did shut off, Lisa lifted up the hood and she removed the curlers. The ringlets created fell over my face and onto my shoulders. It was funny as my hair had seemed to grow a bit longer so very quickly. Lisa now decided she instead of Ashley would style my hair. She hummed and hawed for a bit, then it seemed her mind was made up and she went to work. I sat there studying her as she first teased every single curl formed by the rollers. By the time she was done, my hair was a huge puff ball. It looked so odd. Lisa then began to smooth out my hair until she had it neatly styled. She laughed, telling me it was my big hair day. Well, I can tell you she was not lying, as she had my hair standing at least 6 inches higher. The amount of hairspray she used to hold was incredible as Lisa made sure it would not fall or come out. In the mirror, I looked at myself. My hands sort of touched my hair. It felt stiff, but it looked pretty good on me, I thought. Ashley reappeared and gasped as she saw me. She told me I looked so 50s. We all laughed for a moment on hearing her say that. Lisa then looked at the clock. It was almost 9, time to open, she said. I was shown my desk and sat down. Ashley said I should call my work to resign. Once more, no question was asked. I just picked up the dial. The number. A voice on the other end said hello. I told them that this was Brian and that I would no longer be working for them. Any monies owed to me could be mailed to the address I gave them. I then hung up the phone and looked over at Lisa and Ashley. Both of them were smiling broadly. Ashley said to me today was now going to be wonderful as the first customer walked in. The customer, I found out, was a regular. I was introduced as the new apprentice Brienne. I got up and took her coat to hang up. I asked her if I could get something to drink. She said nothing at first, but she looked at my hair and smirked. She shot a momentary look towards Lisa, then she told me I could get her an iced tea in a large glass. I did as she asked and went to the back and made her an iced tea. I returned and handed it to her. She thanked me and also told me Brienne was a lovely name. Blushing a little, I thanked her and then returned to my desk. My morning was going very well as I fielded many calls. I booked several appointments and in between I swept up after Ashley and Lisa. All was going good. We all took a break close to noon. Ashley went into her apartment and returned with our drinks. Mine, of course, was different than theirs as it was pink in color and all my drinks had been for the last few. This one though seemed a bit stronger tasting as it gave me a buzz down my spine. Lisa saw this right off and looked over at Ashley. They both did nothing until my reaction had subsided. When it did seem like I was back to normal, Ashley said to me that my voice should be softer and that I should try to talk that way from now on. Nodding in an affirmative gesture to her, I told her I would. I was suddenly startled as my voice was indeed softer now and it sounded very feminine. Lisa and Ashley hugged me and told me that was much better and to keep speaking in this manner. Our break was now done with as another customer came in. She was an older woman. She looked at my hair and told me she wore her hair just that way when she was much younger. She teased me a little, telling me that such a pretty girl as I was should not wear such an old style. She winked after saying this and I smiled at her as I understood her meaning. My entire day was this way. The customers were all very nice to me and most made comment on my hair. At one point Lisa told me if she had known so many ladies had liked that style she would have given one to herself as well. My only problem occurred when I had a bathroom break. After I had gone, I had trouble getting my Jane belt back on. I prevailed though and got it back on properly before returning to the salon and my desk. Our final customer had her hair highlighted. I watched this with great interest and at one point asked Ashley if I could have that done to my hair as well. She told me it would be her pleasure to add some color to my hair. Little did I realize that she and Lisa had already planned this out and would recolor my hair later that evening. Finally, the door was locked and we headed into Ashley's to have a snack. We had settled down by the table. Lisa was mixing up some refreshments for us. Mine, once I got it, was pinker of course and a bit thicker, but it tasted wonderful. Ashley was talking to Lisa. They were looking at a hair coloring chart and going over each page very carefully. Ashley's finger was pointing every now and then. Unfortunately, I could not see nor hear what they were discussing. Lisa began to nod her head saying that shade was perfect. Together they had agreed on my new hair color and we were now off to go back into the salon. I was seated at Ashley's station while Lisa prepared the color. I was caped and a towel placed over my shoulders to catch any drips of colorant that may fall. Lisa was back over now and she was the one to do my hair. She combed my hair in a middle part and once satisfied she began to paint the color on my hair. I was unsure at this time what shade they had chosen as it went on white. Watching her work away though, I could see the white turning darker as it sat for a few minutes. Lisa did not take long to have my hair completely covered in this liquid. A plastic bag was placed over my head once she was done and I was to wait 45 minutes so the color would deposit on my hair. Sitting in the chair, I was thinking to myself how both Ashley and Lisa had been so magnificent in their care for me. I really enjoyed their attention. I guess the pampering was all part of the plan they had hatched along with Carla. Only problem was that I had no idea anymore of what was occurring. I just knew I was feeling special all the time by the consideration they both were showing towards me. Lisa now was removing the plastic cap as the time had passed. I was helped to the washing area and once seated she washed and rinsed the color from my hair. I still had no idea which tint they used, but that was soon revealed once I was sat back down at Ashley's station. The towel was taken away and I could be my hair now. It was a beautiful deep black cherry shade. It shone under the salon's lights. Lisa let me look for a minute before picking up a dryer and brush. She dried my hair mostly straight with a small flip going under at the ends. This style was very attractive on me. Ashley had been observing and she waited until Lisa had finished. She then came over and scanned my hair. She looked very satisfied and told Lisa that this color was perfect and with the shape of my face, which was now more defined with higher cheekbones and fuller lips, she would be able to really make Brienne look fabulous. Ashley's words made me feel special as she started to apply makeup over my face. She barely used any foundation, but she worked long around my eyes and lips. As she stood back when she was done, I glanced into the mirror to see my eyes incredibly large looking and she had shaded in the corners with a black pencil. This gave them a very smoky appearance. My lips also looked so much fuller than had looked this morning, and my cheeks had just a hint of blush on them to make them appear higher. Wow, they stood out. Ashley giggled, saying I was indeed becoming an attractive lady. Just a bit more time was needed until I was perfect. With that said, it was time to go out and meet up with Carla at the restaurant. Lisa, who had gone into the apartment, returned carrying our purses. I was given mine and we then headed out. Ashley drove and I sat in the back with Lisa. She was going on about how eye-catching I was beginning to look. I thanked her for that and told her Brienne was indeed a happy woman. In no time we were at the restaurant. Carla was inside waiting for us. When she saw me, she whistled and winked. I blushed a little but managed a smile to show her I was appreciative. We all sat at a private booth. Carla was beside me while Lisa and Ashley sat together. Carla was curious as to my first day's work in the salon. I told her that I had had a great day and was rewarded with this new hairstyle and color. Carla's head nodded as she seemed to approve of this shade. She told me it made me look very attractive. Again, I thanked her. All these compliments only made me feel better about myself, and my confidence was at an all-time high. The three friends all knew this as well, and they continually made complimenting comments as we ate and drank our wine. As we all chatted for a while, Lisa spoke of an upcoming hair show this Sunday that Ashley was supposed to be the featured stylist at. Carla said that I should volunteer as her model so I could show Ashley my gratitude for her being so nice. Naturally, I reacted to Carla's words with a positive, and I told Ashley I would indeed love to be her model. She told me that was the best present I could give her, as she had the most wonderful idea of how to show me off. A toast was made by Carla. She proposed success to Ashley and her model. We all laughed and drank away until the time had gotten quite late. Lisa and I went right away while Ashley stayed for a bit to speak with Carla. Later I found out that Carla would be my first customer the next day. I would wash and blow dry her hair, as it was a simple task for me to accomplish. This news made me feel good, as I was being given more of a styling role, which would be more fun. Answering phones was okay too, but styling hair like Ashley did was my ultimate goal now. Lisa and I arrived at Ashley's. Lisa immediately got out 3 small vials. One was white, the other two were red, and I watched her as she mixed them together. When she was satisfied, she called me over and gave me the glass. I drank it down and my head became very light almost right off. I was semi-conscious as a voice began to speak to. It said, "Brienne, you are a woman, a beautiful, wonderful woman. Nothing is more important to you than wanting this. Femininity will be your calling, and once there you will never look back on your old way of life." The voice went on saying that I would think female always, speak ladylike always, and to feel as a woman should, which is wonderful, strong, assured of herself. Once I believed this, it would be then my true happiness would be welcome to my new self. All of this made me unknowingly smile, as I was still not fully conscious. I knew though that what I had heard made me feel and sense a total feeling of happiness. Lisa placed a cover over me as I was in bed now. I fell fast asleep, and the words Lisa had spoken to me had given me comfort. While I slept, Ashley and Lisa were downstairs. They spoke to one another, and I was told that they spoke of the changes in my body and how I was beginning to develop nicely. Ashley told Lisa I had now reached halfway point of the drug they had been using on me since Saturday. She was amazed at how quickly it worked and my total acceptance to what was transpiring. Carla had also told her that Brienne was to continue to wear the heels, as the shape of my legs was to be determined by this. Also, the corset would not be necessary soon, as my waist was thinning down and my hips were slightly larger appearing. Ashley had bought me a training bra to wear, as I was close to an A size in terms of breast size. My final size again would be determined to my body's overall dimensions. She told Lisa though that I would end up being a C, as I was slender from the start. They also spoke of my quick learning from Ashley's old styling manuals. It would seem I was able to retain far more than they had anticipated, but this was good, as they would not have to keep showing me how to do everything. Once was all that was required, it was seeming. Tomorrow would be the day I would have to think on my feet, as Carla's appointment was going to be more than just a wash and blow dry. She was going to also ask for a set, and a tough one at that. She had the picture and Brienne would have to try to do it. Both Lisa and Ashley would help, but only enough to get me started. After that I would be left alone to fend for myself. Carla of course will be suggesting and helping without me realizing, and then I will pick up this style without any difficulties, as it was featured inside Ashley's old styling books. It looked like my next full day was going to be a fun one for me. I would awake and find womanhood even more appealing, and my body would be starting to develop fully.